Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is March 30th, and right now we are looking at the visible satellite imagery. Check out our low pressure system off the coastline here, already spreading precipitation back up across southwest Oregon. Willamette Valley, you are next, and eventually western Washington as we go through the evening tonight. So enjoy whatever sunshine, filtered sunshine, you do have out there across some of the region. Taking a look at a wider view of things, there's our low pressure system. Trough is in place out here. It's going to be bringing us our chilly and showery weather here over the next few days, but we do have the chance to warm up as we go through the end of the upcoming week. We'll dive into that a bit here as we go through the video today. And you can see again here, look at Crescent City actually reporting some heavy rain right now. But yeah, looks like Medford's probably going to be reporting rain next hour as well. And again, this will be moving northbound. 44 at Seattle, 39 at Spokane this morning. Is 44 for Pendleton. You can see off across Montana there is some light snow there falling for Great Falls. And if we go down towards, which is this one, this is Billings, 28 degrees and some snowfall and some low visibilities out there as well. But you can see relatively quiet across the rest of the Pacific Northwest, at least for the time being. And this precipitation is on its way quickly. Look at that lake view down there, actually getting a bit of light rain here this morning also. And if you want to help support the channel, I got Pacific Northwest and California Weather Watch Patreon page here. So go ahead and check that out if you would. I'm going to be doing all my updates here that I do outside of my daily weather briefings here on YouTube on this Patreon page. So check it out if you would. The link is down below. Now, taking a look here, this is Portland National Weather Service. They do other things like how to respond to a tsunami. So good stuff here if you want to go ahead and check that out. You know, if you live near some of the coastlines out there, it's always good to know what to do exactly if the tsunami actually the warnings start to go up or whatnot. So yeah, heads up for that. Nice stuff here from the National Weather Service, Portland, Oregon. Taking a look here at the weather station that I've been promoting. I've been testing this at my house. You can see a lightning detection system with it. UV already starting to appear through the bit of those clouds here this morning. It is not precipitating right now. Trace of precipitation there yesterday. Highly recommend this station. Click on the link down below to save 10% off of one. This is what goes in your house. It just sits on your desktop, and you can put this outside. And of course, they talk wirelessly. You'll have it up and running in just a few minutes. So here we go. We're looking at lightning strikes excuse me, over the last 24 hours, eastern Oregon, Idaho, and western Montana. Nothing for western Washington or Oregon, but that's probably going to be changing here over the next couple of days. We'll dive into some of those details here in a moment. National blend of models. Let me update that. Looks like it did not update yet. We're going to bounce back to the 12Z. So we have today's forecast. Look at this. We're warming up a little bit here for Portland and Seattle. So not too bad here, but this is in advance of the system that is already coming up here. So as we go through the day today, the clouds will be increasing, but not a bad day in the meantime. Get out there and enjoy that. There's eastern Washington into the mid 60s as well. Chillier across the higher terrain. That makes sense. Here is day one thunderstorm outlook. You see the Pacific Northwest. That does kind of clip Olympia there. Includes Portland, Eugene, and Medford, Oregon. There's Pendleton and Boise under the thunderstorm threat today. And then tomorrow, the entire Pacific Northwest is under the gun for a thunderstorm or two. Nothing too exceptionally widespread, not like the thousands of lightning strikes we got back on Wednesday, but still eyes on the sky here as we go through the day tomorrow. Now, looking at 500 millibars here, 18,000 feet. This is our system spreading that precipitation, pinwheeling off our coastline, starts to weaken and fill and starts to push inland here. You notice we still have this trough, hanging out through the midweek period, and we'll still have some shower activity in that time frame there. But then we got this ridge going. There's the ridge, sinking air, less clouds, warmer conditions versus these troughs, precipitation, rising air, cooler temperatures, and look at that, hangs out for a little bit here as we go towards the end of the week and on in through the weekend here. There's still some disagreement in the models on how quickly this next trough is going to try to kick through the region and how quickly this trough will try to kick out and start to bring our drier conditions, but we'll be watching that here over the next few days. Taking a look at the European ensemble mean, this is last night's run, so this is the average of all 50 ensemble members. Shows that trough hanging out a bit here as we go through Thursday morning, but then again, pretty good model agreement that some sort of ridge is going to be passing across the area. So we'll probably get at least a couple fairly decent days across much of the Pacific Northwest as we go towards the end of the week and maybe on into the weekend. Then we'll see what this trough has in store for us after. Now, looking at the Doppler radar here, as we speak right now, we're right about there. It's about 10 a.m. here on Sunday morning. And then we continue to scroll off in through the day today. See the precipitation riding back up across Oregon into southwest Washington. Probably some lightning activity here with some of these showers. Southwest Oregon as you go through the afternoon and evening tonight. And this continues to move all the way up through British Columbia as we go through the overnight hours and into tomorrow morning. And then you can see Monday's thunderstorm potential. We're going to have this cooler air aloft, and there is, thunderstorm potential across Idaho, Washington, Oregon, up into southwest BC also. And then the low starts to weaken a bit here, and it is going to track back across Oregon, it looks like. So there's going to be additional rounds of precipitation, probably enhanced amounts across Oregon as we go on in through Monday night and on in through Tuesday morning. And we're probably going to keep things showery here across the region as the trough is still around. Still got the chilly air aloft as we go through the midweek period. And we'll go through the slow drying trend as we go towards the end of the week. Now, taking a look at 700 millibars at about 10,000 feet up in the atmosphere, there is the cooler air arriving as we go through tonight and tomorrow. There's tomorrow's thunderstorm threat. And then we kind of keep this troughing around as we go through the midweek period here. You see this cool air still around, but then you see the next ridge here starting to get established off our coastal waters here as we go towards the end of the week. So that's our hope for some nicer weather as we go on in towards next weekend. Same thing here at 500 millibars at about 18,000 feet. I like showing just the raw temperature data here because this is what drives the weather across the planet here. It is the difference in temperature and the temperature gradient. The Earth does not heat evenly, so it's constant battle across the planet of hot versus cold, good versus evil, dry versus wet. And so, yeah, I do like to show these upper levels of the atmosphere. And something else we can look at here is about 5,000 feet. We are looking at the entire planet here. So there's North America, there's Asia over here, there's Australia and South America. And you can see the equatorial regions, of course, at 5,000 feet. The equator is getting heated much more versus the polar areas here. So you have this imbalance that gets created every single day. And then you try to transfer the heat. Nature abhors a vacuum, so it wants to balance this out. But it's a battle it can never win because the polar areas, again, are being heated at a much less rate versus the equatorial region. So if I put that into motion, you can see how you get the deep convection of thunderstorm activity. And you see these outflow boundaries and these gravity waves moving across in that deep convection there across the tropical areas. And then you can also see these polar lobes taking a swing here. And you got ridges and Rossby waves and low pressure centers and troughs and frontal systems moving across the mid latitudes there. So you can see the ever complex system that is our weather pattern here across the planet Earth. So hopefully a little fun look at things there for you. But yeah, back to the Pacific Northwest forecast here. So taking a look at the wind speeds today as we go through the day today, you can kind of see some blustery conditions up the Oregon coast as we go through tonight. No major windstorms, some blustery conditions maybe across some of the northern Puget Sound up into the Strait here and up towards across some of the island counties as well. But again, no major windstorm out there. Then you see the low pressure center kind of push down across Oregon. You're going to keep the rain going as we go through Monday night and into Tuesday for a lot of Oregon, but then we have the onshore flow with the cooler air aloft, probably still kicking off some showers here across a lot of the region. See the westerlies and some gusty winds on the east slopes of the Cascades for a time. But then you notice as we go into Friday, things start to turn a bit offshore, and that's that ridge starting to get established here. So you can see things lighten up a bit, and again, turn offshore as we go on into the day Friday. Lightning flash density potential here on the high resolution rapid refresh. So as we go through the day today, you cannot rule out a lightning strike or two as you go across western Oregon. Some of that does move up into Washington. The threat is not quite as much, but you notice across some of the southern Cascades, east slopes there, maybe out towards Yakima, eastern Oregon, Washington, maybe a thunderstorm there. And you can't even rule out a lightning strike there across some portions of western Washington here as well. Again, should not be a widespread event or anything like that. And as we go on through the day Monday, still some thunderstorm activity around here. Again, we'll revisit that again as we do tomorrow's briefing as well. And then we go on in through Tuesday as that low kicks off to the south. 24-hour total snow Kuchera ratio. So as we go on in through Monday, this is about Monday at about 11 a.m. And you can see Oregon Cascades, a few inches for the Washington Cascades. Nothing to write home about or anything like that, but it could be down towards I-90 at times, but it still should be light amounts. Then we scroll on in towards the day. This is on through about Wednesday morning right here. And again, you can kind of see the 24-hour ending total by Wednesday morning. We go off towards Thursday morning there. So nothing extremely heavy there, but we do have some mountain snows flying. Blue Mountains, Rocky Mountains, Northwest Washington at times getting a bit of that snowfall as well. But again, not a lot to speak of. relatively speaking. Looking at avalanche.org, check this before you go out. You got moderate impacts here across the Oregon Cascades, some of the Washington Cascades as well. Click on that, get all kinds of good information. Now, something I've been dealing with here in the extended forecast is last night's runs here on the European ensemble mean. You can see the precipitation deficit starting to emerge in the 15-day period there for western BC, portions of western Washington, and some above average here across California and southwest Oregon. And the European Artificial Intelligence was generally on the same kick there. But then we scroll through this last night's run on the European Artificial Intelligence, and it kind of has that above normal creeping back in there. So we've got some big disagreement through the extended forecast. Are we going to be doing some ridging? Are we going to keep the troughing around? We still don't quite know just yet. Some pretty big disagreement run to run between some of the models. And this is probably going to be reflected at the Climate Prediction Center here. They kind of jumped on that below normal precipitation showing up for some of the Pacific Northwest as we go through the first week of April. But I have a feeling, obviously if the models start to trend the other way, they're going to start changing this up a bit here. So it's kind of typical for spring. The further you look out in the forecast on some of these events here, obviously much less confidence in each one of those troughs versus ridges. Now 8 to 14 day as well. You can see that the above average, and then there's kind of this mixed bag across Pacific Northwest. We'll see how that turns out. And we do have some of this drought activity here, and a drought extends a lot more than just if your ground is wet or if you perceive that you got a lot of rainfall here and there's a lot of groundwater and stream issues and wells and things like that they have to take into consideration. So we are running a pretty good deficit across some of the Washington Cascades. That's why this moderate drought is out there. And you can kind of see that precipitation departure from average there for some of the Washington Cascades. And that does include some of the Seattle Metro, Tacoma, Pierce, Thurston counties there as well. Generally -4 to -8 inches for some of the areas. And some of the North Cascades is actually -8 to -12. And October 1st is when we officially start the water year. So since October 1st, you can see Eastern Washington actually above normal here, and a lot of portions of Oregon as well. But some of Western Oregon, Western Washington have been below normal. So that's why that drought is still out there. And you can see a lot of Idaho Panhandle and Montana slightly below average as well. And if you take a look at percentage of precipitation, you can see that some areas are between 70 and 90. So that's the reason for the drought out there. But Oregon, Eastern Washington actually doing pretty good since the water year has started as far as average precipitation is concerned. And this is the temperature since the water year started as well. October 1st, you can kind of call that, so this is a lot of the fall season and much of the winter. We've been above average here for the most part of this season here. You can kind of see that there are some areas where you were below average Oregon Cascades here, but it's kind of a mixed bag. But expected, honestly, a little bit of a cooler signal here being in a La Nina. But yeah, there it is. That's what we've been since October 1st. And yeah, so enjoy that sunshine out there today that you're getting now. And this is low pressure center is going to be with us. Thunderstorm activity for the next couple of days. Eyes on the sky for that. When you see those darker clouds move around, watch out. And thunder roars, go indoors. You guys know the drill. But otherwise, what else? Click like and subscribe. We'll do this all again tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.